U.S. Navy's most powerful carrier strike group gets the order to launch airstrikes on Venezuelan air defenses after a tanker is attacked near the Caribbean's busiest shipping route. As jets race into hostile skies, what follows will blindside both commanders and the world. What really happened the moment U.S. power met resistance just off Venezuela's coast? The stakes and the fallout are only beginning. News of a crippled oil tanker drifting ablaze off the Venezuelan coast jolts Washington into motion. The attack, traced to a coastal missile battery, sends shockwaves through the global energy market. Within hours, a crisis team assembles in the Pentagon's secure conference room, reviewing satellite images of the burning vessel and real-time shipping lane data. The Southern Caribbean, already dense with more than 24 tankers a day, is now a contested zone. Energy analysts warn that even a brief closure could spike oil prices by double digits, threatening 5 to 10% of U.S. crude imports and disrupting refinery operations across the Gulf Coast. Crisis legal advisors and military planners work through the night. The president's team insists on a measured response, demanding airtight intelligence and strict limits on targets to avoid civilian casualties. In a secure call, the Secretary of Defense confirms that all diplomatic channels have failed. The Joint Chiefs finalize rules of engagement. Only military sites directly tied to the attack are cleared, and every strike must be vetted for collateral risk. Measured, the carrier strike group commander receives the execute order just before dawn, transmitted through an encrypted channel after a final legal review. The message is clear. This is a limited operation, not open war, and every move will be scrutinized by allies and rivals alike. As the first jets launch, the weight of interagency approval and international law hangs over every decision. The margin for error is razor thin, and the world is watching. A Nimitz-class carrier holds station 200 miles offshore, ringed by 2 guided missile cruisers and 3 Arleigh Burke destroyers. Below the waterline, an attack submarine patrols the approaches, scanning for threats. The Air Wing, led by Commander Tracer, brings together 24 FA-18 Super Hornets, 5 EA-18G Growlers for electronic warfare, and 4 E-2D Hawkeyes, providing a rolling radar picture. Tankers and helicopters stand ready for mid-air refueling and rescue. On the flight deck, ordnance crews load precision-guided bombs and anti-radiation missiles, while pilots cycle through final mission briefs. Every asset is linked by a secure data link, their movements choreographed by second-by-second timelines. Venezuela's defenses stretch in layered belts along the coast. Mobile Buk M2 and S-300 VM missile batteries, some mounted on trucks, repositioned to mask their locations. JY-27 and JYL-1 radars sweep the airspace, backed by hardened command bunkers. Su-30 fighters are dispersed across 3 airfields, fueled and armed, but kept on the ground until a clear threat appears. Coastal anti-ship missiles cover the main tanker lanes, forcing the carrier group to operate at extended range. Rules of engagement restrict every move. Only sites linked to the tanker attack are cleared, with legal and political advisors monitoring each target in real time. Commander Tracer's team must coordinate not just with the strike group, but with cyber specialists and intelligence officers feeding last-minute updates. The complexity is staggering. A single error could trigger a broader conflict or put aircrews in the path of ready and well-trained surface-to-air missile operators. Every launch, every maneuver, is measured against a backdrop of uncertainty and risk. At 0400 hours, The first wave of jets slices into the humid Caribbean darkness. The formation is led by a pair of EAA-18G Growlers equipped with jamming pods and anti-radiation missiles. Before any missile fires, carrier cyber teams begin disrupting Venezuelan military networks, targeting command data links and radar control nodes. Space-based signals. Intelligence pinpoints emissions from 2JY series early warning radars outside Caracas and Puerto La Cruz. As the Growlers approach the threat envelope, they flood the VHF and metric bands, forcing the main coastal radars either to shut down or to risk exposure. Within minutes, the first radar in the east flickers and drops offline, its operators blinded by a surge of electronic noise and a sudden cyber-induced power loss. The Growler Flight Lead Ranger coordinates with Super Hornets orbiting just outside surface to air missile range. Using real-time electronic intelligence, Ranger cues a pair of AGM-88 HARM missiles toward the second radar, which had just powered up to track the incoming package. Both missiles home on the radar emissions, closing the distance in seconds. A muted flash on the horizon confirms the kill. Venezuelan Buk M2 batteries, now cut off from their primary targeting data, begin shifting positions, but their radars remain silent to avoid drawing fire. With the two main search radars down and command links degraded, a corridor opens along the coast. E-2D Hawkeyes relay confirmation back to the strike group. The first window for follow-on attacks is open, but the clock is ticking. Every minute counts before backup systems or mobile radars can fill the gap. The airspace is shaped, not yet safe, but the path is cleared for the next phase. 12 Super Hornets punch through the corridor, each loaded with a mix of JDAMs and standoff missiles. Their targets are mapped to the minute: runways at Maracay, missile storage at Puerto Cabello, and hardened command bunkers near the coast. The plan calls for each strike to land within a 20-minute window, before Venezuelan crews can reorient mobile launchers or scramble fighters. On approach, a bank of low clouds scatters the formation, forcing pilots to rely on instruments and data link cues. Fuel calculations tighten. Each jet has a razor-thin margin for error, with tankers orbiting far offshore to avoid coastal missile arcs. Commander Viper leads the push, his Hornet tracking a pre-briefed bunker. As he rolls in, the targeting pod flickers with static. He toggles to backup and presses on, releasing his payload just as the first warning tones shriek in his headset. A burst of anti-aircraft fire rakes the air beneath his wing. Shrapnel pings off the fuselage, but the jet holds. Viper radios a quick damage report, voice clipped, and banks hard for the exit route. On the ground, secondary explosions bloom across the airfield. Fuel depots and missile crates ignite, and one runway is left cratered and unusable. Yet the strike's precision comes at a price. With the formation strung out and weather closing in, one Hornet's fuel state drops to bingo. The pilot diverts to the tanker track, burning every pound to stay airborne. Over the comms, E-2D controllers log a sudden radar spike west of Caracas, a signature out of place just as the last jets turn for home. A Super Hornet plunges into the sea, the pilot ejecting as warning tones shriek in his headset. Salt spray and burning fuel sting his eyes as he splashes down, fighting to inflate his survival raft before the ocean current can sweep him away. Above, the carrier rescue helicopter, call sign Dusty, spools up, rotors biting the air as the crew races through pre-launch checks. Every second matters. The downed pilot's beacon pings across the E-2D screen. but hostile radars are flickering back to life along the coast. Dusty's pilot, eyes locked on the threat display, hugs the waves at barely 100 feet, weaving through digital clutter and radio chatter. Escort Hornets orbit overhead, loaded for suppression, scanning for any sign of a pop-up surface-to-air missile. The rescue crew braces for a fast hoist, knowing a single missile could end it all. In the darkness, the human cost of the mission comes into sharp relief. As the rescue unfolds, a new order cuts through the comms net. All offensive operations are halted, effective immediately. The Carrier Strike Group commander relays the pause to every cockpit and ship. The message encrypted, but unmistakable. Within minutes, global news feeds erupt with footage of the downed American pilot and Venezuelan officials claiming a major victory. Social media surges with competing narratives, some hailing restraint, others calling for escalation. At the United Nations, emergency consultations begin as diplomats demand answers and urge de-escalation. In the ready rooms, pilots stare at paused mission boards, waiting for the next directive. The world's attention pivots from the battle itself to the information war unfolding in real time, and the outcome now hangs on decisions made far from the flight deck. Carrier strikes may last hours, but their shockwaves persist for years. In a world where 90% of global trade moves by sea, every crisis off distant shores can ripple back home. The true cost isn't measured in missiles, it's in the stability we risk with every decision. Share your thoughts below.